Hi, I am Amma Duncan. In 2015, while in corporate Ghana, I was up to my neck in feeling stuck. Plus, I was always broke. I wanted a change like yesterday. I was just tired. While thinking about what to do, I had an idea to share stories about women as a way of honing my writing skills to become an author. Little did I know that Father God upstairs had way bigger plans for me. Now, this idea has developed over the past 7 years into the Fabulous Woman Network, a social enterprise which helps women create wealth and impact people. Through events, training, coaching, and mentoring, we've impacted thousands of women around the world. In the beginning, I knew zilch about running a business, and so I invested in many programs and books. I still do. Learning and applying them is empowering me to create wealth, and I desire to help others get empowerment too. In fact, my vision is to see an Africa in which women are empowered to create wealth and impact people. I am constantly being asked many business-related questions, and so over the next couple of months, I'll be doing a series called Start Your Own Fabulous Business on my weekly podcast called Mind Your Business. If you're new in business, I dedicate this to you. But if you prefer to work with me one-on-one, then go to amaduncan.com/store to book a discovery call with me. For now, grab your notepad, pen, cup of tea, and enjoy. Okay, so can I work full-time and be a business owner as well? My answer is yes, 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 and yes. But when I used to be in full-time, I did not know this. It surprises me in hindsight that I always had this close mind about working other jobs, or basically gaining multiple or having multiple streams of income, which is really, really surprising, because prior to working in Ghana, when I worked in the UK, at a point I had 3 jobs at the same time, but it never occurred to me. So today while I was preparing for this, I thought, but Amma, this question, everybody knows the answer to this. And then I started remembering my own story of how I had such a close mind on this subject that forget it. It's only your employer that you can work for, and then, just forget working for any other person. Then I realized that actually this is a conversation worth having. So yes, my answer is yes, you can absolutely work full-time and be in business. For some of you, it may be tricky. I think for me, this is one of the reasons I didn't consider it, because it was quite tricky for me. So in today's episode, I am going to share a few things, 4 things that I would do if I were in full-time employment. And this is based on what I know now, knowing what I know now. But the background to this is, just in case this is the first time you're listening to me, look, I used to be always broke. I was your broke girl, always saying how I don't have money and having everyone around me laughing at me, thinking I was just Pepe. If you're not Ghanaian, Pepe means stingy. People thought I was just Pepe, but there was more to my Pepe-ness than just being, I was always practically in my pocket broke. Sometimes I had -0, if that's possible. And yet I would, wear all the nice clothes and high heels and have this nice bag, drive in a nice car, live in a big house. It didn't make sense. Even now, I sometimes laugh at it, and close family members, we look back and we laugh at how we were all that, we were seen as all that, but really we didn't have any money, So now, yes, I can laugh at it, but it wasn't so funny a few years ago. So I was always broke, and I didn't, let me just say this. I wasn't broke because I was in full-time employment. I was broke because I didn't know how to manage my money. So it's not necessarily about what you do. It's about what you do with the money for me. And so that's why, the bottom line for me, that's why I was always broke. Recently, I discovered this video by a Nigerian coach. He's passed on now, bless him. May his soul rest in peace. He's called Ubon King, and I think Ubon Thompson King, and he was very passionate about multiple streams of income. I remember listening to one of his video where he talked about the fact that he read in the Bible, in Genesis, about the Garden of Eden, and there was a river that 4 streams flowed into that garden, into the river. And he used this analogy to describe a Christian, that as a child of God, you should have at least 4 streams of income. That was an eye-opener for me. But I only discovered that maybe 2-3 years ago, by which time anyway, I had realized that, okay, I'm a one source of income is not good enough for you. So I had already been working on it. But this was the kind of video that at that time, maybe 10 years ago, I would have loved to really pay attention to. I probably saw something similar. I never thought, oh, for me, nah, I don't need multiple. I mean, I can't handle multiple. No, not anymore. I don't think so anymore. So these 4 things, I want to encourage you to do it if you are in full-time employment. If you are not, and even if you're in business, it's also worth considering. These are things that I am seriously paying attention to myself, even as a business person now. And so it doesn't matter who you are, where you are. I think these are important. Number 1, this specifically applies to people who are working in full-time or perhaps are working with specific contracts. So check your contract, the specific terms with regards to conflict of interest issues. So when I was in full-time employment, I said no to the few opportunities to work for other brands that came my way because I was worried about conflict of interest. I didn't want to do anything that would conflict with what I did for my employer because, of course, I was in human resources and I had read somewhere about conflict of interest and I just closed my mind. I didn't even want to just explore that subject that, oh, is it possible that what I'm doing, I can do it for someone else? I was just closed. I would want you to please just pay attention to your contract. What does it specifically say? Because sometimes, for my contracts, for instance, it had to do with my industry. I couldn't do what I was doing for my company in my industry without, my company knowing. So actually, there was a way out, but because my mind was closed, I didn't even want to look at that at all. So actually, looking back, there was so much I could have done to earn extra income, but my mind was simply closed. So if you're like me, then what I want to encourage you to do is to look at the specific terms of your contract. Yes, there are things you cannot do because you're working for company A, but what else is possible? Okay, so that's number 1. The second thing I would do if I were you, well, this goes for everyone, whether you are in full-time employment or not, is that I would guard my non-working hours jealously. And what do I mean by this? When I say non-working hours, I mean the hours that I'm not working for the company I'm working for full-time. Now, a lot of us loyal and great employees practically spend all our time, all of our waking time, working only for our full-time company. Now, that is tricky. Please work with me here. Just listen to what I'm saying. I'm not saying that don't be loyal to your company, but please, outside of those hours, the time you have is for you. Guard it jealously. You can use that time for other people. For other things. I ever interviewed a lady who told me that she works 8 hours for her company, yeah? And that's between 5 a.m. and 8 a.m. in the morning, that's for her. And then between 5 p.m. and 9 p.m. in the evenings, that's for her. So 9 a.m. to 5 p.m., that's for her company. So what are you doing with those other hours? If you're like me before, you're probably using that time to explore what's happening on social media. Not that that's bad, but you may want to look at how much time you're actually spending, and is that, being productive for you? Or you may be spending that time supporting in quotes here, your cousin, sisters, uncles, side chicks, brother who is having a wedding and you just have to go, What I mean is sometimes we use these hours to do things that are not necessarily productive. So you may want to look at these hours. What can you do? Because actually, for some of us, we just go to work 8 hours. Say we spend an hour to prepare to go, an hour to come back home. So that's 10 hours. The rest is 14 hours. You sleep minimum, or say 8 hours maximum. So there's 2 more hours left. Did I get it right? No, it's not 2. 6 more hours left. What do you do with the 6 hours? Yeah, maybe you run around errands, do a few things here and there. At least some 2 hours in a day is possible for you. What can you do with this 2 hours or these 2 hours in that day? Please guard these hours jealously. You can actually manage your energy and your tasks so that you can do something productive in these 2 hours that earns you another stream of income. And I'll get to that soon. Actually, let me just get to it right away. So what streams of income am I talking about? Explore the opportunities that are available to you. Like I said, for me, my mind was closed, so I wasn't even willing to explore anything. But what is possible? Perhaps you can be an affiliate marketer. There are products and services all around us. People are always constantly producing things. And one of the biggest headache for a lot of, especially startups, is marketing. Perhaps you are great at marketing and you can help somebody market their products and services and you earn commission on that. You can also be a coach for whatever industry it is that you are in. You can actually be a trainer. You can write for others. For instance, let's take teachers. Teachers are always doing extra classes. Some teachers are writing books. Some teachers are forming their own companies where they organize other teachers to do extra classes for other people. Some teachers are teaching French, for instance, online, and teaching English in other countries online, right here in Ghana. So just open your mind and your eyes to the opportunities that are around you, depending on what it is that you are doing. Okay, so this is my third point. Explore other sources of income. So far I've talked about 3 points. Find out specific terms on your contract. Secondly, guard your non-working hours jealously so that you can use that for productive activities. The third point is explore other sources of income. And this depends on what it is that you're doing. My final point, and this I see happening, is that I would brand myself as a professional and not as an employee. So, for instance, I see on LinkedIn and Facebook how some of us who are working for other companies, when we come to when we are talking about ourselves, the only thing we say is, maybe I work for X company or Y company. Okay, that's not necessarily bad because it's good to leverage the brand of your company. If it's a company that it is respected and people know, it's nice to be associated with them. But that's not the only thing you are. There's so much more to you. You are a professional. Maybe you're a banker, you are an accountant, you are a teacher, a nurse. That is also important. That is also valuable. So whatever it is that you do, add that to your brand. Don't only be known as someone who is working for X company, but what value are you providing to that company you are working for? When talking about yourself, it's important to have this in mind as well. I see a few people do it and I really admire that. I think that personally as well, it's something I used to do without really thinking about it, but in hindsight, I'm happy I did. So I would post about training. I would post pictures of me training my the team I worked with and all that. I didn't know that it was all helping me to build a brand as a trainer. Now I know that it did, because people associated me with training. And it's even in those times, it got me a few gigs, and well, I would say no, because I didn't think that I could work for other companies. And so just look on your own profile, say LinkedIn, Instagram, Facebook, wherever you are. If you're an employee specifically, how are you branding yourself there? Are you telling everybody that, oh, I work for this company, without mentioning what specifically you do or the value you are bringing to people? That is really what counts, especially if you're going to be an entrepreneur or you want to earn multiple streams of income. So the bottom line for me is this: please don't sit and complain that you don't have enough money, or that your company should pay you more, they should promote you. Promotion is great, or more pay is great, but you cannot sit down and wait for someone to promote you or for someone to give you more pay. Come on, there's something you can do. Find it and do it. Let me tell you something quickly before I end. Recently, I was doing a job in a certain community, and we took a walk along the road between Kumasi and Ejisu somewhere. I forgot the name of the town. So this is a highway. And as we were going, I noticed a lot of young men, like youth, carrying hoes and machetes, and they were just going serious looking, and they were walking. And then I asked, so these people, are they farmers? So I thought perhaps we were close to farms, so these people were farmers. And then when I commented, one of the natives said, oh no, they are not farmers actually, but they are going to look for work on farmers. So they don't have specific contracts, but they wake up in the morning, get their gadgets together and say, okay, I'm targeting this area and I'm going to see if I can find job there. I was like, oh my God. I was so impressed. I was like, this is exactly what we should do. Get up and go look for something. Like recently at home, we hired this person to help us with our gardening. We've had someone for some time who has been doing our gardening, but we couldn't find him. And this other gentleman for a few months would knock on our gate and say, so I do gardening, can I come and support you? Especially when he sees that our lawn is a little overgrown. He would always come and we'd tell him, oh, we have someone. Every time we have someone. And then recently our own gardener, we couldn't find him. And guess what we did? We said, okay, let's go look for this other gentleman. And now we've hired him. And he did a great job. Like, we are actually so happy with the difference he has made since he started, doing ours. And so this is the exact attitude. And when I see Ghanaians behaving like this, I get so inspired and challenged. I'm like, who told you Ghanaian youth are lazy people? Have you seen these people I'm seeing? They're not sitting there waiting that somebody, the government or somebody will come, or their uncle will come give them money, or the rich auntie will come give them money. They are making moves. And these are the sort of gentlemen we'll see in a few years, and they are making millions. And sometimes we sit somewhere and think, oh, they did something illegal to get what they have. It is not everybody who is doing illegal things to earn income. Some people are actually working hard and smart, and it's also possible for all of us. So today's call to action, child of God, is this: review your streams of income and decide on your next move. I'm not going to tell you what it is that you should do, but you just, based on these 4 things I've spoken about. So I've talked about finding the specific terms on your contract to see what you can do, guarding your non-working hours jealously. I've talked about exploring other sources of income, and then finally branding yourself as a professional and not as an employee. Do these, any of it which is applicable. Perhaps you are doing some already and there's something you're not doing. Just review your own streams of income and see what needs to be done, and do what you have to do. Okay? Anyway, it's been an absolute pleasure coming your way with this series called Start Your Own Fabulous Business. If you've started something in this past 8 weeks, congratulations to you. Please let me know in the comments or send me a private message or something. I'll be happy to also put you on my prayer list. Yeah. If you have any questions, you feel free to put them in the comments, or you can send it to me privately. If you prefer to work with me on one-on-one, like I keep saying, please go to amadankan.com/door to book a discovery call with me. Otherwise, what has spoken to you today? What has spoken to you over the past 8 weeks? What other question would you like me to answer? What do you have for me? What do you want to say to me? I look forward to hearing from you. Until I come your way again, God willing, same time next week. It's toodles. Bye.